All right, coming up on this episode of One Star Rewind, I get the pleasure of sitting down with Tim Harrell, who is the lead technician for Evergreen Heating and Cooling here in Waco, Texas. Tim is going to dive into a one-star review that they received about 3 or 4 months ago from a customer that honestly don't know if he has much of a leg to stand on this one-star review. Talks about a little customer service hiccup. And honestly, I think the company, Evergreen, did everything they could in order to service this gentleman's residential place for their heating and cooling. So, but anyway, we'll get your thoughts on it. It's a great episode. We dive in a little bit about Tim's life as well and how he became the lead technician at Evergreen. So enjoy, get ready for this episode of One Star Rewind.
One Star Rewind.
All right, we are here. One Star Rewind. I'm here with Tim.
Yes, sir.
Evergreen Heating and Cooling.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, man. How's it going?
Good to see you, man. Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me here.
Anytime, dude.
It's going great, man.
No, I'm glad you came. You are in proximity. I think you're my closest guest because you're like a block away.
That's right. I just had to walk over here, man.
You walked over here.
That's right.
I love it, dude. I love it. Well, thank you for coming on. We're going to dive in. You are the lead technician.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
With
That's
Evergreen.
right.
So you are, I like this because sometimes we'll talk to folks that they get the reviews, but they actually weren't, like if they're an owner or whatever, but they weren't involved directly with what was happening.
Right.
You were directly involved with this
I was,
one.
yes,
okay.
sir.
All right.
I sure was. I remember it vividly.
Okay, good. We're going to dive in. Evergreen this is a Google review.
That's right.
It give like 423 reviews on Google.
That's right.
4.8 rating. So
That's right.
Incredible service. You guys do such a good job. One of our instructors with Triple Win is married to, sister is married to
That's
owner.
right.
Yeah.
That's
so
correct,
like
yes.
I've heard great things about Evergreen. So I'm excited to dive in.
Awesome.
But when you've been around for as long as you guys have been and you do as much work as you do, you're bound to hit a couple bad apples.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And you can't do everything perfectly. You can't please absolutely everybody. If you have complete 5-star, 5.0, then something's up. You're always going to have something that happens.
Oh, for sure.
And
I don't trust those. When you have
absolutely
if you have over 200-300 reviews and they're all 5s, you have no one. I'm like, come on, man. I don't know about that. So cool. All right. Well, we're gonna dive in. This one happened 3 months ago.
That's
so
right.
pretty fresh.
Yes.
This was a Google review. I'm gonna butcher your name, Sharad El Tarafi, maybe
Close enough,
El Tarifi. No idea if I'm saying it right. What's interesting about Sharad has left 5 reviews.
That's right.
On this Google account. Now, there's no Google picture. So I always look at that.
That's right.
So, maybe they don't use it all the time or whatever, but they've done 5 reviews, all of which have been 1 stars.
That's right.
So
All
Sharad,
of which been the worst review ever, the worst experience ever.
oh my goodness, yeah. And we'll just, really quick, Evergreen, Roto Rooter Plumbing, 1 star. Domino's Pizza, 1 star.
That might be accurate.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
My favorite one is Bank of America, but in parentheses, the drive-through ATM.
The drive-through, yep.
Yeah, not Bank of America, the ATM.
ATM, man.
And not the walk-up one, the drive-through. So I don't know what the poor drive-through ATM did to Sharad here, but
hurt his feelings, man.
he wasn't happy. Yeah, so all right. Without further ado, we're going to rewind.
Let's go.
Go back in time and read Sharad's review. Okay, Tim, I'm going to do my rewind noise.
Okay,
Ready?
go ahead.
One day, yeah. We're back in time. Okay. He starts off, worst experience I've ever had. There's no way this company has this many positive reviews. It must be fake reviews. I called them 4 times within 5 hours window, and they kept saying the same thing. Our dispatch will contact you soon to let you know when the technician will arrive. But dispatch never called, and the technician never arrived. I called another company, and they managed to show up within 1 hour. We'll never deal with Evergreen again. Angry emoji face.
Grr.
Okay, grr.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to read the response, or do you want me to ask you the question? What happened here, Tim?
Absolutely.
What do you want to do?
What? because the response is pretty much exactly what I'm going to say.
Okay,
anyway.
Perfect. Well, tell me, man, what happened on this one?
So that particular case, I get the calls from our after hours answering service.
Okay.
And so whenever there's no one at the office, no one's
Sure.
We don't usually take calls whenever they're not on the clock.
So what's after hours? When does that start?
So after hours usually begins after 5 o'clock.
Okay.
On weekdays.
Okay.
And it goes until I believe 8 o'clock the next day.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that goes to what we call our emergency service.
Okay.
And then all weekend long. So
Gotcha.
Starting 5 p.m. on a Friday night until 8 o'clock a.m. on Monday.
Okay.
So that's considered our emergency time, and that's whenever the calls go to our emergency service.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so what happens is they take the call, they take as much information as they possibly can,
Okay.
and they send it to whoever's on call that week.
Okay.
And so we take whoever's on call takes the information, calls the customer, and we don't have company phones per se, but we call them on our personal phone.
Okay, makes sense.
And so we call them, let them know what exactly we can get them on the schedule, how much the emergency service is, and what all that entails.
Okay.
And so whenever it enters into emergency mode, or that time frame, there's an emergency service fee plus whatever the cost of the repairs are.
Sure.
And we have to get the customer's okay first before we even go out there.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just a waste of time, waste of gas. And
makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so anyways, on this particular case, just like any other time, the emergency call comes in, it gets dispatched to me, or it doesn't really get dispatched. They say, hey, this is the customer, this is his name, this is what's happening.
Okay.
So I call the customer.
Okay.
It goes straight to voicemail.
Okay.
I leave a voicemail.
Okay.
Say, hey, this is so-and-so, or Tim with Evergreen.
Yeah.
If you would, just call me back. This is our feed. This is when we can get you in.
Okay.
Let me know.
Okay.
Never get a call back.
Nothing back. Okay.
And then they call the emergency service again.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Okay.
And it says the customer is very upset. They haven't heard anything. What's the ETA?
Yeah.
So I'll call them again. Same thing. Goes to voicemail. Goes straight to voicemail.
Yeah.
So he obviously has.
Because you're still waiting for them to pick up or call you back
Correct.
to let you know they're good, and then you head over there.
That's
so
right.
You haven't gone over there yet because you haven't heard from the customer.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
I haven't gotten the confirmation from them or the
Gotcha.
okay.
Okay.
And so, anyways, I called them back and said, hey, this is the second attempt. I always say, however many times I call, this is the second attempt to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Let me know. Call me back.
Yeah.
And still another again. I'll wait another hour and call them and say, hey, this is the third time for me calling you. I haven't heard back from you. Let me know.
Okay.
So obviously, some cell phones have a spam blocker that if it's weird number or outside of a area code.
Sure.
And my phone, my personal phone, is from the FWs.
Okay.
And so it shows up differently.
Yeah,
and
not a Waco number.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But you still get the notification that someone left the voicemail for
Well, and if you're in an emergency situation, you're probably picking up a phone knowing it could be the technician calling.
Correct.
Like you're just on your phone. I think you're ready for a phone call.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so at the very end, he calls in, I think, a third or fourth time and says, this is absolutely ridiculous. No one called me. What's going on? Jeez. So anyways, I'll call him then, and it finally goes and rings, and he picks up. and I go, hey, man, what's the deal? I called you 3 times. Yeah. And he even acknowledges, yeah, I did see the number or did see the phone number pop up.
What?
And I just thought it was spam, and so I didn't think anything of it. And it's like, well, there you go.
Well, yeah.
Like, what do you expect?
When you left him a voicemail, too?
I did.
What?
I left him 3 voicemails.
Oh, my goodness.
And I have record of it, so that way I can turn it into the office and say, hey, look, I did my due diligence.
Yeah.
And so, anyways.
What did he say to that? When you were like, hey, I've been calling, there's 3 voicemails on your phone. Was he apologetic or?
No, he wasn't. No. But he did acknowledge, he's like, yeah, you're right. You did call. I thought it was spam. Jeez. You know, no harm feelings or no bad feelings, no harm done.
Wow.
So I didn't think anything of it.
Dang.
And then I saw the review.
Gosh. So did the review happen like that same day? Do you remember?
No, the review happened after the weekend comes up, so that way the owner actually came up to me and said, "Hey, what's going on with this?" And I showed him, "Look, this is how many times I called the guy."
Yeah.
And so, and I left voicemails at each time.
Yeah.
And so that was the response. You can read the response if you like.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking through it, and I mean, you were right on point. I mean, just some, highlights here. You say in the response, or who the responder, as evidence that you received his calls, you called him back on his personal cell phone and discussed that you had already gotten mad enough that you called another company. Our on-call tech, Tim, mentioned that you told him you don't answer phone calls from unknown numbers, and you didn't listen to his voicemails, and we understand that. Our on-call tech was calling from his personal cell phone, which is very normal. I
Absolutely.
With other companies I've dealt with and other trades, I mean, a lot of times the person coming calls and says, "Hey, we're 30 minutes out," or whatever, and you're just you're ready to receive a call. I don't know how else to phrase it. Like someone's coming, right?
Right.
We had a pipe that had broken 2 days ago here, and water was bubbling from the ground, right?
So I do remember seeing that.
We turned the water off, and then I called the tech, or I called the company. They said, "Yeah, we'll send somebody out tomorrow." And then the tech calls me, "Hey, I'm on the way." Like, you just, I don't know. So I think that's frustrating. You can see it from their side.
Of course.
They have this emergency, but I don't know what more. That's your protocol.
Right.
And it's a very sound protocol that's very industry wide.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you think, I don't know if there was an angle here, because he called another company, but you don't think they were trying to, my service has been bad, they'll give me a discount or something, or?
So I don't know what the outcome would have been. And unfortunately, with all the other reviews that he left, I think it would have led to something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it would have been a complete waste of time on both of our ends.
Yeah.
Where we probably wouldn't have gotten paid for the service that we did, even though he might have signed off on it. It's like, well, since this happened and this happened, I don't think I should pay all of that.
Yeah.
And
can I read these other ones real quick?
Go ahead, man.
Please. Okay, so the Bank of America one, where he's mad at the drive-through ATM, will not answer the phone to answer a simple question. So a phone-related one.
Wow.
I don't know why the ATM didn't pick up the phone.
Of course not.
Domino's. If you call this location, you'll be on a 45-minute hold without an answer. Again, a phone. Roto-Rooter, I don't know if this was a phone one. He was just upset. But it did additional work. You can read these on Google. It's all public. But it's just interesting that it all seems to center around some sort of phone call or something. Right. Someone's not answering me, which, again, can be frustrating. But in your situation, y'all were right on top of it. How you would handle an emergency situation off hours.
Sure.
I don't know what more you could have done.
And say if I did just go out there, which is probably what he expected.
Sure.
Say if I did go out there and I called him and said, "Hey, I'm 20 minutes away from you," or just giving you a heads up. And so what if of course he wasn't going to answer the phone anyways.
Yeah.
And so say if I did go out there, took the time, drove however long it would take to get up here.
Yeah.
Because I currently live in Temple.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's a long haul to get back up here to Waco.
For sure.
And so I take the 45 minutes it takes to get to his house.
Yeah.
Spend all that gas.
Jeez.
I show up to the house.
Yeah.
And I say, "Hey, we're here." It's like, well, why didn't you answer the first couple of times? I didn't know anyone was coming.
Yeah.
It would have said something along those lines.
Oh, totally.
And so y'all caught me at a bad time. Y'all should have waited until then, know?
Oh, yeah. It was kind of a lose-lose situation.
Without a doubt. And so it would have been a lose-lose situation if we did go ahead and do the repair.
Yeah. Well, Tim and I, this is the first time I've met you.
Sure.
Your demeanor, I'm just like, I like you. You're not a vindictive person. I feel like you're doing the things that you're meant to do in good customer service.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about you. How did you get into the industry? Evergreen. Where are you from? Are you from Temple?
Yeah, I'm originally from a small town in East Texas, just right outside of Canton. It's called Kemp.
Okay.
And a little bitty 3A school. Everyone knew everybody. Everyone grew up with each other. So that was really cool. But I came to Baylor in 2004.
Okay.
Stuck around for a while. Finally finished in 2010, but I still stayed until 2013. I met someone online.
Cool.
That lived in Fort Worth, and
nice.
so I thought that's where I needed to be.
Yeah,
so I moved up to Fort Worth. Okay. I also had a small marine electronics shop that I had owned. I kind of fell into it.
Marine electronics shop. Right. What? Describe that. I have no idea what that is.
All the cool gizmos and gadgets that you see on boats, like bass boats.
Yeah.
Like all the electronics.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And trolling motors. That's what I
got you. I was thinking like the Marines had like a shot, and I'm thinking, well, like military, like okay, that makes sense. I got you.
It's kind of the same, but different, but same.
Sure.
But no, I had that shop for a long time, and things weren't working out with that. A lot of stuff going on at home.
Sure.
And so I had to sell it. And so the next thing that I could get into really easily was being an electrician.
So were you doing that in Dallas, or in Fort Worth, or in Waco?
In Dallas.
Got you. Okay.
And I had that for about 5 or 6 years or so.
Okay.
And so I sold it, and I did what's next that I thought I could do was being an electrician.
Cool.
So I got into being an electrician.
Nice.
And I worked for a fairly big company.
Okay.
And so at the close to Christmas time, they said, "Hey, look, I'm just gonna let you know there's no work. There's nothing going on. We can call you whenever we do have some work.
Okay.
But yeah, this is it for a while."
Okay.
So I thought they were firing me, and they were. I come to find out later on, they were legit. They just didn't have any work to do.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, my next door neighbor at the time, he goes, "Hey man, I'm a project manager for a commercial HVAC company, and we need someone that's licensed. Because we're doing a whole lot of change outs for these schools.
Sure.
And doing rooftop units.
Okay.
And we need someone that's an electrical licensed person to do all the electrical rigging for them." I was like, okay. And so what they had to offer was way above what I was already making. Like they're going to give me a truck, health benefits.
Oh my goodness.
Gas card. So even that was just way a huge pay raise.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I got involved in that.
Great.
And did that for about a year. So that's how I got my feet wet with HVAC.
Okay, got you.
And so
okay, wait, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So we were talking earlier, you were a business major.
Uh-huh.
So was in that in any way did you think, okay, I'm going to at some point work for like a company like Evergreen or in that trade? Or were you more thinking like when you were running your business that's what you were going to be doing?
I thought whenever I was running the business, that's where I was going to use my...
So you were going to be a business owner. That was the goal.
That was the goal.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
And so I thought I was actually using my degree doing that.
Cool.
Okay. But anyways, the guy said, "Hey, let's get you going on the commercial stuff. We can teach you all the ins and outs of HVAC while we were doing that. We can teach you about the refrigerant cycle, teach you how things work, and then once we finish all of this stuff in the summertime, we'll go and let you be a technician or let you ride along with them.
Cool.
And get your feet wet doing that." So,
nice.
But however,
the catch.
The catch is that they were also experiencing a lot of setbacks and a lot of missed jobs and cutting down on hours, and they were a franchise, like a national franchise company.
Gotcha.
So I got laid off.
Oh my
Since I was one of the first ones to get
so you went through the summer.
That's right.
And then before the winter to let that part kick in.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
I know it, man.
What year was that?
That was in 2018.
That was 2018. Okay.
And so I was on unemployment for a long time.
Yeah.
I was trying to find work. I was trying to find something similar, being either electrician or HVAC installs.
And this was in Kemp
This was in Kemp still, so in East Texas. And what was funny is that I did finally get a job offer going back in Fort Worth.
Okay.
And
were you still doing this the dating thing with that girl, or is that's
a whole different story?
A whole different story. Okay.
So I can talk about that a little bit.
Okay, I was going to say you said it, and then I'm like, oh, let's go. But
no,
gotcha.
But anyways, I can touch on that here in just a little bit. That's part of my life story there too.
Gotcha.
And part of my testimony, if you will.
Okay.
But anyways, in I guess in April of 2019, I had another job lined up. I was going to go be electrical stuff. I didn't want to do that anymore. It was hard work, and I just didn't like it, you know.
Sure.
So, but I said, hey, give me about a week to think about it, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And so anyways, within that week, someone else called me out of the blue and said, hey, we saw your resume on Indeed.
Okay.
You want to come out here for an interview? Sure. And I was like doing the yard. I was in like some kind of weird work shirt, neon yellow. I had a Whataburger hat. And I go out there and talk to the guy, and we end up talking for about 3 hours. Man.
Wow. Whoa.
3 hours just talking about life, talking about the goals of the company there, talking about what they're all about.
Crazy.
And they were a residential HVAC company.
Okay.
And they were fairly small.
Yeah.
But their thing was they wanted to be a full service company.
Okay.
And so they want to build a relationship with customers first. That's the main thing.
Sure.
And talked about how to really fully do a complete thorough look at your HVAC unit, stuff like that.
Okay.
But the thing that attracted me to them was they were very involved in the community.
Cool.
All the guys went to church.
Great.
They were all involved in some kind of organization somehow.
Yeah.
And that particular company, and I don't even say who it was
Okay.
Infinity Texas Air.
Okay, cool.
They're based out of Forney, Texas.
Okay.
And so the owner, Trapper, he started a philanthropy charity organization called A Cause for Paws.
Okay.
And so what they would do is they would go to the local animal shelter, adopt a dog, and you don't have to take care of anything. They'll provide the food, the collar, a leash, a bed, and
the things.
All the things, and they just want your commitment of taking care of this dog.
Cool.
And so that was really cool, and that stood out to me because no one else was really doing that in that area.
Yeah.
And so they took a chance on me.
Cool.
And they started me out as an install helper. I worked my way up to being a technician there.
Okay.
And I was there for about 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
And so anyways, I was looking at all the stuff that they had, all the stuff that the owner had. I was like, man, I really want to do something of my own.
Okay.
So the bug was biting me again.
There you go. You're getting that business thing again.
That's right.
Like,
it's like, I can do this too.
Yeah.
You know?
Did they become a full service while you were there in that 3 years? Oh,
yes,
okay. Gotcha.
And so, so anyways, I was wanting to start my own.
Yeah.
And anyways, kind of to touch on the story about the girl that I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
Fast forward a few years.
Okay.
We had 2 kids.
Oh.
Divorced. Remarried.
Tim. I was not expecting that.
Oh, man,
I thought you were going to say, I never talked to her again. Okay. 2 kids and divorce.
But
okay.
anyways,
crazy.
To kind of minimalize what happened in between there.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about a little bit.
Sure.
She had moved to Belton.
Okay.
And I was like, man, and I got remarried also.
Okay.
And we were still living up in the DFW area.
Okay.
And so I was like, man, it would be really cool to move back to Waco.
Yeah.
Because since then, Waco was just a little in between Austin and Dallas.
Yep.
And there was nothing to do.
No.
Even when I was there, there was nothing to do except get in trouble.
I know. I was at Baylor at the same time as you. And then, we hung out at our apartment or our condo every weekend. Nothing to do. Yeah.
And so, but of course, Chip and Joe basically bought Waco and renovated all of it. And
for sure,
there was a lot of really good growth there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's the place to go.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, wow, that's really cool. I want to be involved in that.
Yeah,
I want to take my service and my vision for my own company and take it down there. So that was a 5-year plan.
Wow. Okay. Love it.
So what's funny and it just shows that there is such a thing as divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy randomly messages me on Facebook.
Okay.
Out of the blue.
Okay.
Anyways.
Like there was nothing that would have potentially prompted this person to message you? Okay.
And so
crazy.
But I post a lot of stuff on Facebook as, like my before and after pictures, taking the old install and what I did with it, or taking something that was dirty, cleaned it, and stuff like that, or I'll post like a 5-star review.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Cool.
And so he goes, man, I really like what you got going on. I really enjoy watching you and following you.
Okay.
Is there any way that we can talk you into coming down to Waco and seeing what we got going on down here.
Nuts.
And just see if it would be a good fit.
Yeah.
I was like, and he had no idea that I was looking.
Jeez.
And so I came down here. We go and look at the facility, which is right across the street here. And it just blew us away.
Wow.
And what was crazy, I had my wife with me. I had her kids with us.
Yeah.
And she got to look at it. And because
cool.
I don't like doing a whole lot of things without having her involved in it either.
Yeah, they're your team. Like, you can't.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, there's like, am I gonna go here for lunch or whatever? You can make those decisions on your own.
Absolutely. But as far as making a big decision,
yeah, they're with you.
I'm very emotionally based.
Sure.
And she's like, "Whoa, wait a minute. Hold
on. Let's think about this.
Let's write this down." And so, but anyways, I had her there. We talked about everything that we had concerns about. It's like, look, if you want us to move, it'll take this and this and this.
Cool.
And he was like, done.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime, rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
What are we doing here, Rusty? What are we going to do?
Yep, we're doing the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. Yeah, so we're going to go through one episode at a time. Come along for the ride with us.
Come check it out.
And give me a good like Dale Gribble quote to go out on. Wingo.
Yeah, Wingo.
Wingo. All right. Well, join us for the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
Deep in the heart of Texas, that drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
So, Tim, do you know when Evergreen became a company or how long they've been around?
So they became their own entity in 2014.
Okay.
Originally, they were part of Capstone, which is a big, huge
Capstone
HVAC.
Mechanical.
That's
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And so they used to have their commercial side, and they also had a residential side.
Got you.
And Brian pretty much was in charge of the residential part.
Got you. Okay.
And in about 2014, like I said, there came to a spot where they didn't want to have anything to do with residential. They just wanted to be rid of it and just focus mainly on commercial.
Gotcha.
And so at that time, Brian was able to purchase the residential side from him.
Cool.
Take it and make it his own.
Yeah.
And so that's whenever they
Wow.
started up.
Okay, very
doing
cool.
just that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of customers that we have that Capstone installed the stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, Brian started doing his own thing in 2014.
Now, since then, are Evergreen, do you do commercial as well now, or do you just still do residential?
Just residential.
Just residential. Okay, very cool. Yeah, Rick Tullis,
That's right.
Capstone, he actually did Stephen Sloan, Dr. Sloan. They do the Waco History podcast.
That's cool.
They do some episodes together, so Rick comes over here. And
that's awesome.
Great guy. I mean,
Yes, he is.
Awesome dude. Well, very cool. So, still down the road, is it potentially going to try to start your own down the future, or is that kind of put on pause now being with Evergreen?
And so to add on to that divine intervention, we couldn't find a house around Waco that was affordable, within our price range, and plus we were trying to move in like right now. And so anyways, the closest one that we found that was within a reasonable price range was in Temple.
Okay, cool.
And not only that, my ex-wife and our kids lived in Belton. They were going to Belton schools.
Cool.
And so we were able to be very close to them.
That's great.
While also being somewhat close to Waco.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And the cool part was, and I didn't tell Brian any of this until I was like, hey, the only place that we could find is in Temple.
Sure.
And so he's like, well, that's really funny that you mentioned that because they were wanting to open a second location in the Belton Temple Killeen Salado area.
Wow, dude.
So he wanted me to kind of take reins of that.
That's awesome.
So so technically, yes, I would have like my own business per se.
Okay.
Where I get to make the shots, I can do the hiring, firing, the training,
cool.
and all of that.
Cool.
And but everything, all the headache stuff, is still ran right here. And I shouldn't say headache, but
I know
all the business end of it is taken care of here.
Good.
And being ran under that.
Nice.
So it'd be just like I fast forwarded my plan by 5 years.
Yeah, seriously. And boom, you're right there.
Absolutely.
So that is happening now, or that's happening soon, or
kind of both.
Kind of both. Okay.
So we are already having contracts and doing new members and new contracts down there in that area.
Okay,
and
great.
There's a team for that.
Great.
And so we're hiring now to cover what we're missing for people that are going to the Temple spot.
Great.
So we're hiring now for people that are going to be a great team fit here in Waco.
Okay.
And also for there in Temple as well.
That's phenomenal.
The only thing that's missing is that we're trying to find an actual physical location to put all of the stuff and to have like the mailing address and do everything for Google.
Because how big is your shop here? The one right across the street, like square footage wise, is it pretty massive?
It's pretty big.
It's big with all the stuff and trucks and everything. Well, it's a beautiful building.
Absolutely.
And the courtyard and everything, you drive by it, and it always sticks out. Even before I knew who you were, or Dustin Ward with his sister, but it's a beautiful deal. I think you guys, based on the great reviews that you have, a 4.8 rating, and sitting down with you here and knowing Dustin, from all those sides, Evergreen would be like, okay, I'm going with y'all. Any residential need.
That's right, man.
Let's go with Evergreen.
And so the cool thing about us is that, and I'll just say up front, we're not going to be the cheapest.
Sure.
We're certainly not going to be the most expensive, but we're going to find that good middle ground.
Good.
Because we're not going to cut any corners.
Yeah.
And our bread and butter is not only the install, and we're going to make sure that it's done properly. Everything is up to code. Everything is par. Everything is going to work good.
Yeah.
And work properly. But what we specialize in is we want to be the Sewell Lexus of HVAC dealers.
Cool.
We want to help you out after the sale. We want to have that relationship and that friendship, and like what they say.
Yeah.
We want to have that friendship continuing on for the entire life of the system.
Yes.
So we're gonna we offer a what's called a comfort club, where we come out twice a year.
Nice.
For free,
Oh,
or
great.
I guess it's part of that.
Part of the club,
membership.
Yeah.
And check your system out, get it cleaned, get it up to factory fresh.
Cool.
Each time we're out.
Yeah.
And then you get a discount if there is anything that's not covered under warranty. You'll get that in case there is any kind of.
That's incredible. I don't think I'm alone in this, because I'm like the bad, business owner or homeowner. I don't clean my filters, and then a motor blows out or something,
right.
and then they're coming out repairing it, and they're like, if you had just bought a $10 filter, it wouldn't have done that. And I'm like, yep, you're right. And having kind of a maintenance plan or checks on those things
absolutely
saves the me's of the world, having
right.
to pay for more maintenance and repair costs.
And that's right. And we want to be that peace of mind.
It's great.
And what's crazy is that, and kind of going opposite of what we were talking about earlier.
Sure.
We actually answer the phone.
Yeah, well, not only do you answer, and I think, and that's great, and we'll bring it back there and wrap it up. Not only they said they called 4 times, they answered 4 times. Like,
that's right.
Dispatch picked up the phone each time this person called, and then you called him each time they let you know, hey, he hasn't heard from you, which is incredible customer service.
Sure.
From this side, Sherrod just kind of, man, pick up your phone when you're waiting for someone to come help you out. It would be my advice to him.
That's
right. But you guys are spot on with your customer service.
And we can't tell you how many people have said, man, we just couldn't get anyone come out today.
Yeah.
We couldn't get anyone on the phone. No one would answer. No one would show up.
Yeah.
So by doing just something that you think would be natural, or what just the basics of business.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's how we got that's where we got to sell.
3 months ago, so it's November, so it's hot. Texas is hot all the time, right? For the most part. So if something's wrong with my air conditioning and it's hot in my house, dude, I am waiting by the phone. I am waiting. And if there's a voicemail from a call I missed, I'm probably listening to it.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, this is Tim from Evergreen. Like, so I don't know. That's crazy. Okay, to wrap it up, Tim. So I really don't want to be, but I'm Sherrod right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to try his last name one more time. El-Tarafihi. I know. If you can pronounce it, shoot us a message. I'm in the room here with you. I'm not Cory. I'm Sherrod. If there any final shot, parting words that you would like to give to Sherrod right now?
So first of all, Mr. Sherrod, just want to say that yes, we forgive you for that 1-star review.
Okay.
We didn't intentionally mean for that to happen. We did everything that we possibly could to make sure that we were out there. We were there for you whenever you needed us. And we would have provided you that 5-star service if we were able to come out there and serve you.
Right.
So I'm sorry there was some kind of miscommunication there. I don't want to say it's anyone's fault or one way or another, or blaming phones or technology.
Sure.
But we take responsibility on our side. If there's anything we could have done differently, we certainly would have. But we would have loved the opportunity to serve you.
Great.
And we forgive you for your 1-star.
Appreciate it. Well, Tim, this has been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Having a company as reputable as Evergreen, having you on the show, it's a big honor, and I thank you for taking the time out
Absolutely, man.
for hopping on. So thanks for rewinding with me.
Absolutely.
And diving back to a 1-star review.
Yeah.
One day we'll get a real noise, I promise. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Tim, and have a great rest of your day, man.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.